Let's break it down. So let's just talk about what changes they made in the second half. Next Gen tweeted it out. We'll dig into some of the specifics of it, but just the numbers on the whole. They dropped 8 on 35% of plays in this game. 45% of their plays in the second half, they dropped 8 guys. 45%. On those plays in this game, Mahomes was 7 of 13 for 59 yards. He took 2 sacks and threw an interception. It changed the game. Them doing that changed the game, but it was the way they did it. Sometimes when guys drop 8 and you're playing soft zone when you drop 8 and the guy has all day, it's a terrible idea. They weren't doing that. They were dropping 8 and they were playing man coverage with multiple robbers. So they're being aggressive while giving themselves help in those moments. And one of the coolest parts is the robbers were coming from different places.
Yep.
So Mahomes didn't know who was going to be in man coverage and who wasn't. One play, they drop Bates down. One play, they drop Bell down. One play, they slam Hilton back and have him as one of the robbers. It was such a creative way to make him make tight throws against man coverage while also not leaving yourself vulnerable and creating confusion. Doing all of those things at the same time is almost impossible, but they managed to do it with this exact game plan.
I think the Bengals heard or realized, I think the NFL got on the refs after the last game, the Week 17 game, go, hey, they're going to swallow their whistles.
And after the first half. Because the Chiefs got away with some in the first half.
Oh, yeah.
That field goal that the Bengals had to kick, that was a pass interference on Higgins from Fenton.
Oh, yeah, grabbed his
and
arm.
then it was a 50-50 call with Ward on the other side with Chase.
Yeah.
But they were getting away with it. Mm-hmm. And the first drive of the second half for the Chiefs, that was that Hilton tug. They were just playing normal cover one robber in some of those third downs, but they were being really physical, and it benefited them.
It did. And, I mean, you feel like it's like leaning into the punch. Oh, we're going to press Tyreek, and we're going to press. You can press, Kelsey a little bit just on the routes that he is asked to run. Like that disrupts what he does. But
it really does affect his production if you look at the numbers on it. It really does.
I mean, it's not fun. You get your every time you're about, okay, I'm going to get a nice pass play. I'm taking one to the chops, and then there's another guy over the top helping. But Tyreek is usually playing with fire. It's because you miss your press, you're torched. Like he's going way past you because he's so fast. But it's a twofold thing. Their routes aren't as vertical. That's what they're expecting more stuff to be underneath. So their routes are a lot shorter. They're running the high lows that we have talked about before. They're running 4x1 high lows early. That's quick. It's essentially a quick game. Mm-hmm. So, okay. So they're playing physical with them. We don't have to worry about getting beat over the top. And on top of it, we're basically putting a bracket on them because now if he wants to go in and out,
it's almost a triple team. Because really you're playing man coverage on them, you have a robber in the middle of the field, and then you have a post safety in the deepest part of the field. I mean, 25 yards deep at some points. That long sack that Mahomes took, the post safety on that play, I think it was Jesse Bates, was legitimately 25 yards deep. When you look at the dots, it's wild where they were lined up on that play.
The coaches film is going to be hilarious because they have to show all 22. So I'll just keep zooming, panning out. But with dropping 8, you usually see drop 8 a really good time. Again, like leaning into the punch. And like you said, they're running the robber variations, but also usually you'll see almost a Tampa 2 extra with that coverage on third and short because a lot of offenses run quick game on third and short. I told you the Rams, they ran the double move, essentially the cup. It's essentially quick game. Choice comes out very quickly. So you just put arms in the lane. It's like running a 2-3 zone in basketball. You're just putting as many arms in the lane, clog it up. Hey, man, we just ran this pass concept 100 times because we're only expecting 7 guys in coverage, not 8. That just really changes the numbers. And the fact that they got 2 sacks, by the way, only rushing 3 is actually saying something in itself. But that's a leaning into the punch kind of way for defenses to stop quick game. And what RPOs are, and Mahomes had some bad plays on the RPOs. I mean,
there was the Hill interception. The Hill interception was with 8 man. They dropped 8.
And the guy comes, this is what I'm going to say so RPOs. RPOs is still, I only know a couple from my experiences that I like. I think sometimes I've gone on a rant about this on my Twitch stream. So but I kind of think they've been bastardized about what's getting read, like where the advantage lies with these RPOs. I think sometimes there's a run look that they're like, oh, we're reading this linebacker. It's like, yeah, but you're blocking him anyways. That's not the guy in conflict, So I think the rules have gotten warped over the years, just how these plays are in. On that RPO, okay, what's the pass option in RPO? Quick game. It's usually double slants. It's double stick. That's what the Chiefs ran there.
It was a 3-yard gain. It was a 3-yard gain. It was just such a low ceiling play when they're crushing you on the ground. Just hand the ball off.
More frustrating is they got 7 yards on a run play the play before.
Yes.
2nd and 3. And that's the thing. RPOs, this is we've commended the Bills for understanding this, is they kind of told Josh Allen, hey, yes, we understand that's a pass lock, just hand it off. Or they just run straight run plays. They would get into 21 with Gilliam and just run straight run plays.
And their RPOs were glances, where you're looking to hit a 20-yard chunk instead of just throwing stick on first down when we have an 83% success rate running the ball. And it was so frustrating.
So frustrating. Everyone could feel it. And so you're taking
and it makes you tighter because it's one more decision to put on your quarterback's plate when your offense isn't functioning the way that you want it to. And I think it's just one more thing that can be creaky. And that's what it felt like in the second half. The Hill interception, by the way, Hendrickson was in position to get a hand on that ball, even if Hill didn't tip it because of how good the call was. Dropping. I mean, that changed the game. That play swung the game because right after that happened, they hit the fade ball to Chase for the touchdown. I mean, they're picking on Sorensen on that drive, just picking on him in the goal near the goal line. The Taylor 2-point is just his head is spinning. He goes in motion. They did a great job there. So I was just really frustrated at how they just didn't run the ball enough. And people say that all the time, but when you're ripping off, they average 5.8 yards per carry in this game, and they're destroying you on first down. Where the Bengals could not run the ball on first down, which we can get to, the Chiefs were ripping off whatever they wanted. Yep. And it was just, I mean, I'd have to look at the specific plays. You know, there was some 2nd and 3rd and shorts, some 3rd and 1s where balls fell incomplete. Just run the ball. They cannot stop you running the ball. The other part of the drop 8 that I think is worth mentioning is they did a lot of it in dime personnel because they were playing man coverage. Trey Flowers was in the game, and he did a really good job on Kelsey. It was just that kind of unique body type where we're dropping you in for this one specific reason, and we need you to muscle this guy up in these specific situations. And it was working really well. Yep.
And that's what they did last time. But this time, it was cool. It was a continuation of their first game. That's what was really fun about this game. It was like callbacks. It was what George Lucas wanted the prequels to be, kind of thing. Like where they actually made sense, like the poem that he was trying to do. But also just, it's weird seeing a guy like Mahomes. He'll have plays where he's trying to do too much. That was his MO coming out of Texas Tech.
Oh my God, the last 2 sacks.
It was, I mean, just the whole game, the whole second half was him just trying to do too much, which it happens. Like a lot of these quarterbacks they have this in them. They're gamers. But it was like at the point where it was like, just don't even let him throw it. Like just like take the ball out of his hand. And I'm not knocking Mahomes. I mean, he's the best of the best. But it's just time after time. The interception to BJ Hill, he should have just burned it. Anyways, on that RPO, if the first read's not open, you have to burn it because the O-line's upfield anyways. So it was.
They also were. There were several guys that were 3 or 4 yards downfield when he threw that ball.
So right then and there, we already know he's trying to do too much because who runs RPOs more than anyone? Freaking Chiefs. So he should know what these rules are. So that's, again, right then and there. At the end of the half, I'm pretty sure that he might have been kidding, just trying to get one out of the refs, but he's trying to call timeout when they didn't have a third timeout. When he throws it underneath the Tyreek Hill,
that ball has to go in the end zone. Ball has to go in the end zone.
5 seconds. 5 seconds is dicey. Anyways, I've been around where you round down there. 4 seconds, which you usually say you can get a play off, but that's a perfect pass play. That's a fade or nothing. Or
I don't mind going for it,
but
I don't mind going for it. But that's really, really, to come away with nothing in that situation is pretty brutal.
When it could have been a dagger like that could have just blew up the whole game, and instead it gave the Bengals some life.
I have a lot more, just a few more things I want to talk about the Bengals defense eventually, but just specifically about that drive. On second down, I almost didn't even write it down because it's like, whatever. Like, it's going to be 24-3. Like, congratulations, incompletion on second down. Beautiful pass off on that second down on that final drive from the Chiefs at the end of the first half with Hilton and Awuzie out of a little bunch against man coverage, and they make Mahomes dirt it. And then on third down, they make the stop. And in the moment, it doesn't feel important. It's like, all right, well, good job, guys. You're going to lose this game. And ultimately, it ends up becoming a huge, huge play.
Yeah. Yep. And it was a pick play designed to beat that coverage, too, which makes that's so frustrating for an offense because I guarantee you they thought they could catch him there because that's exactly what it was. It was a pick play. It was a double outbreaker, rubber out. And they, like you said, they passed it off perfectly. And again, that's what this Bengals defense is the whole season. They don't do anything too fancy. They have some great tweaks on third down. Every week they have some great game plan stuff. But they're just sound. And they squeeze stuff. They pass stuff off, like you said, and they put their guys in the right spots. What we just talked about, offense and defense, taking advantage of what these guys do or putting them in positions to win. And that's what the Bengals did. That's another instance of that, saying, hey, they probably worked on it all week. And the Chiefs love sprint out concepts and shovel concepts near the low red zone. So again, it's just they knew what the opponent was going to do in a gotta have it kind of situation, and they stopped them. I mean, just kudos to them.
The other, talking about passing stuff off, that final pick is they're just running cover one with the robber the way they did it a lot in this game that they consistently were going to in those moments. If you watch the way the play actually unfolds, it's beautiful. So Hilton is on Hill in the slot. Say that 10 times. Hilton's on Hill in the slot.
Not me.
He's running that deep kind of over from number 3 that we've seen the Chiefs run a million times against single high coverages.
They hit one earlier.
So he's coming over, and you see it just perfectly timed where Vonn Bell takes it. He takes the route from Hilton as they pass it off, and then Bates closes, which is excellent range like he has, and makes a gorgeous tip ball for Bell to intercept it and for that to just swing the game. And that looks like a great play from Jesse Bates. It is a great play from Jesse Bates, but it's also a perfect example of the overall communication and teamwork that they had on the back end through that entire game to pass stuff off as smoothly as they were all throughout the second half when they were doing that drop 8 type of look. It was a huge reason they won this game. It was one of the reasons they won this game.